This is DJ producer Xenia Ghali, live from Greece, and you're listening to the JMG Live Music Lounge.
JMG Live Music Lounge. Ready? Let's go.
JMG Live Music Lounge with Jakari Harris. Hear it first with your favorite music artists and celebs. Interviews and entertainment. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the JMG Live Music Lounge. I'm your host, Jakari Harris, and we're back with our 11th episode with Greek artist Xenia Ghali. You know, Xenia is a talented songwriter, producer, and DJ. You know, we talked about her music, working with Pitbull, and living in Greece. It was a great interview. So turn up the podcast and let's go. JMG Live Music Lounge. So my music headline for this week is on Mr. B.O.B. The MC is bringing his Elements tour to Houston this Saturday at Warehouse Live. And guess what? I have tickets. I'm giving away a pair of tickets to a lucky winner. All you have to do is email bob@jmgmags.com. That's bob@jmgmags.com. I'm picking the winner this Friday, July 14th. So enter to win now.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
So I've spoken to quite a few different artists all over the globe, you know, and when LMFAO were together, I interviewed them while they were in Paris, Paul Van Dyk when he was in Germany, Havana Brown when she was in Australia. So when the opportunity came to speak with Xenia, I definitely jumped on it because I've never interviewed an artist from Greece. So, you know, she's had a lot of success over the past year. She's had 2 songs that have hit #1 on Billboard's Dance Songs charts, including Under These Lights and Places. So the interview started with Xenia telling me all about her life in Greece.
Good. It's very warm. It's sunny. I still don't have a tan, which is very depressing. But I'm on tour, so it makes sense. I'm half Greek, half Egyptian. It's embarrassing that I'm not tan. It's not good.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, are there any? I'm sure there's lots of beaches out there, right?
Yeah, I'm just on a very hectic and heavy tour schedule, so it doesn't really allow me to have, a ton of free time where I can go to the beach and play around and stuff like that. Usually I'm on the road every day.
Yeah, I know how that is. Well, now, I know that you're classically trained in piano and flute, but what made you decide to become a DJ and a producer?
Yeah, that's very accurate. I have been classically trained on both instruments, and then when I was 15, I actually picked up the guitar and the drums as well, and started songwriting. So after I started songwriting, I realized that writing music in general was my passion. So I went ahead and decided to study it academically. I went to the UK to do a bachelor's degree in music production, composition, and film scoring. And then during my studies at the university in the UK, I started going out to all these house music parties, underground parties, stuff like that. And all the DJs were using vinyl records and turntables. And I was really interested in it. I got very infatuated by watching them. It really truly is an instrument, so I was like, you know what, I play 4 instruments, I'm classically trained, I'm studying film scoring and production, I want to learn how to do this. So I saved up some money, I bought 2 second-hand Technics turntables, and I started teaching myself how to DJ with vinyl and turntables. And then one thing led to another, and I got a big break at the Ministry of Sound, which is a big club in London. It's world famous. So that was my first big show. I ended up doing very well, thank goodness. I practiced like crazy for that show. And that was it. I graduated, and I decided that music production and DJing was what I wanted to do.
Oh, nice. And how long ago was this?
This was in Well, I graduated high school in 2008, so it was between 2008 to 2012 when I graduated. And then 2012, I also moved to New York where I continued my studies in the exact same thing, music production, composition, and film scoring at NYU. So I did a master's degree in that, and I moved to New York and continued working as a music producer and a DJ.
Very nice. And so, you like right now, when people are trying to become a DJ and they're trying to learn on their own, a lot of people are going to, YouTube to kind of watch some YouTube clips, or they may even have a mentor as well. Did you have a direct mentor, someone that, like another big name DJ or somebody that you looked up to that said, "Hey, Xenia, come over here. Let me show you how to kind of mix these beats a little bit."
No, I actually wish I did. I started very, very kind of in a very solo type manner. Nobody in my family was affiliated with music in any way. They're musically completely uneducated. So on that end, I had nobody. And then when I was studying and I was in the UK, all of my friends were, classically trained musicians or music composers or film music writers and stuff like that. So nobody was really around me who was into DJing or music producing in terms of dance-based music or house music or electronic music. So what I ended up doing was I used to be that creeper who would stand right next to the booth and like watch and observe the DJs perform and really try to pick up on what they were doing. And then after I invested in buying my own setup, which of course was much cheaper than what they had because, I didn't obviously have the money to get anything as high end as they had, but it's a very similar type of setup. I started applying what I was seeing them do to what my setup was, and then obviously through YouTube and, studying here and there, or asking people around, how to do it, I kind of taught myself. And I have my own method as well. I feel like every DJ has their own method, and as long as you're mixing properly, you can beat match, you can do some creative stuff. It depends what kind of DJing you want to do. There isn't really a right and wrong. It's just about an overall good result and something that feels good and makes the crowd feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And I've interviewed Nervo a couple of times, and I've actually just met them a few weeks ago. They were in Houston. What's your opinion on the female DJ phenomenon? That seems to be, there are more and more female DJs are coming out now. I mean, what's your opinion on the phenomenon?
Well, goodness, I hope so, because there's very few of us out there right now, at least, somewhat known or talked about or promoted in any way. So I certainly hope that more women and young girls are, pursuing that part of the music industry as a career. I'm all for it. I support any young girl or older girl that wants to, start DJing or start music producing. I'm always very, very responsive and very supportive of trying to give as much of my own personal advice based on my own personal experiences, and any type of help that I can possibly provide, I always try to give. I would love to see more women do what Nervo do and what I do, and a bunch of other girls do, but certainly not enough girls are doing it right now. So
Definitely.
I hope we can get more of them.
Oh, yeah, the female DJs are on the rise. Trust me, they're coming. So I know you worked with Jessica Sutta of the Pussycat Dolls a few years ago. You guys had a song together. Have you ever wanted to be in a girl group, or did you want to just be a solo artist?
I never actually considered a group type setting because of the fact that I'm not a singer. So it would be a little challenging. The only way I could do it is if I was an instrumentalist, I guess.
Right.
In a group, or if I was playing the keys, or if I was playing guitar, or I was, providing the beats, or something like that. But I haven't really been that interested in it because as a producer, I kind of am that all in one, either way. And then when I perform, obviously I DJ, and then I do, I've done a ton of shows where I'm doing live as well, so I'm using different types of hardware and software to recreate tracks that I've made on the spot, to make it a little more creative and to stay away from just, the DJing, if it's one song that I'm trying to play, I'll recreate it on the spot and I'll play the drums live, and stuff like that. So I haven't really needed to be in a group as such because of the type of work that I do.
Yeah, you're doing your own thing. So I was just curious about that because, I mean, you're such a good-looking girl, and I saw the clip of you and Raquel performing for Fox. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, they would make a good group, even though, you guys performed together for that one song. So I was just curious about what your thoughts were on being part of a female group or duo.
That's interesting. I've never actually thought of it. I guess because the conversation hasn't really happened. It hasn't really been on the table. I wouldn't say no to it if it made sense and if it was a cool project to be involved with. I think it would be fun. Yeah, it would just need to make sense, I guess. But never say never, right?
Right. But I mean, you're doing your own thing, so you get all the attention for yourself, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good, but I was never really after the attention as such because obviously the singer always is the person that's in the front, and
Right.
every single record that I've released, with the exception of Under These Lights, has always had the singer as a featured artist as well. So I very much involve the person that I'm working with, even if it's for a one project thing. So I'm kind of used to being the one that's a little behind the scenes, I guess, being the creator or being the music producer. So in that sense, I've been used to that. As a DJ, of course, I'm in the front, but that's a different, slightly different part of what I do in terms of my brand.
Definitely. And you've had a couple of songs hit #1 on Billboard's Dance Songs chart with Under These Lights and Places. Why do you think people responded so well to those songs?
Oh goodness, that is a very tough question, and honestly, I can't even believe that those records hit #1. Honestly, I really can't. I remember when Under These Lights hit #1. I was here, actually. I was in Greece, and my manager called me and he goes, "Your record just went #1," and I didn't know how to react. I didn't react. I was like, "Oh, okay."
You didn't run around the room?
Initially I didn't, and I went to the fridge and I ate a lot of food, so that was my first response, and then I started jumping up and down, but I don't know, I haven't really, it hasn't sunk in, it hasn't, I know that it happened, but I guess I haven't realized it, which is probably for the best, because it keeps me working even harder, because now I'm like, okay, well, Under These Lights went #1, Places went #1. I'm not saying that, hopefully the next one will go #1, but I'll certainly work toward that, and if it doesn't, then that's fine. But, it just keeps me working hard, and it doesn't let me kind of chill out, and just be content with what's going on. Now, with regards to why people responded to that, I don't know. I guess Under These Lights is a very special record to me because the meaning of the song is very important to me. It talks about unity amongst people. It talks about the fact that differentiation shouldn't be a factor. The fact that we're all under the lights. There's no discrimination, no racism, and nothing like that, basically. And it was released at a point where it was a perfect point for it to be released in terms of what was going on in the world.
Right.
So I guess that could be a big factor. Actually, Billboard quoted the lyrics to that song when the unfortunate event happened at the club, the LGBT situation in Orlando. When
Oh,
the shooting
okay. Yeah,
happened.
the Pulse Club.
Yeah. They actually quoted a part of the song when they released their article about that incident. And of course, it's a whole situation, but it also meant the world to me that they took a part of my song to just express how important unity is, and the fact that we all need to kind of rise against the aggression and the discrimination and the racism and everything that's happening in society. Um, so that with regards to Under These Lights, and then Places, I think Places is just, it's a groovy record. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's kind of sexy. It's playful. It's easy to listen to, but it's not. You can dance to it at the same time, you know. So it's one of those records where you could easily hear it in a club, but you could also hear it on the radio. And it's relatable. It's a really relatable record, and that's what I tried to do with the music video as well. I'm very involved in all my music videos in terms of like coming up with a concept, arranging the shoot, and especially in post-production, I do basically like all the editing and color correction and everything that's involved with it. So I'm always very involved in my music videos. And with Places, I really wanted to give off that relatable feel. You know, it's a music video that was shot in Brooklyn with Ryan Kelly from Teen Wolf, who's co-starring. Raquel Castro's in the video as well. I'm in the video, and then we have like incredible dancers featured in the video.
I saw them.
Styled amazing. Yeah. It was a brilliant concept. It was executed very well, and it's very relatable. Like, you could be one of those kids in training watching that video. Like, you get it. So I guess that's why people liked it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the video definitely adds something to the actual song. I mean, like you said, the video is very sexy. The song itself, you know, does have a mid-tempo vibe to it. So like you said, you can hear it at the club, you can hear it on the radio. So, I mean, I can definitely see how people could respond to it. I mean, it's a nice track.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a cool track to work on. I really enjoyed it because for me, it's never about trying to always recreate the same thing. So none of my records sound alike. You know, Broken doesn't sound like Get Dirty doesn't sound like Under These Lights definitely doesn't sound like Places. But for me, it's just about, you know, in the specific period of time that I'm in my life, I want to just create the music that I want to create, which is usually always dance-based. But in terms of sound, it doesn't have to always be the same, you know. I'm a music producer. I'm not confined to just one specific sound. So working on Places was a different record for me. It was a much groovier, smoother record, very melodic, and it was fun. It was fun to work on.
Very nice. And in a recent interview that I had with Austin Mahone, I asked him what it was like to work with Pitbull, and he said that he wasn't wild or crazy, but he was more kind of laid back, essentially. I know you've worked with Pitbull also. What was your experience like working with him?
Well, the thing that I tell everybody is that, honestly, if I didn't know it was Pitbull, I wouldn't have realized it's Pitbull. That's how humble he is.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is so incredibly humble. Honestly, it was shocking. And I value that incredibly in any person, artist or not artist, you know. I think being humble and being down to earth is an incredible character trait, and I value that in anybody. So that's like the first and foremost thing I'm going to state about Pitbull. And in general, it's true. He's not like, at least my experience with him, I didn't experience like crazy Pitbull, you know what I mean? It was a very organic, very chill, very, very nice. He's incredibly polite as well. He's very, very well-mannered. It was just a very pleasant experience and very humble. Yeah, that's kind of what I'll say about him. He's a really good guy, honestly. He's a good guy.
Cool. And Pitbull, if you're listening, we want to get you on the podcast soon. We want to get you on our podcast very soon. So who are some artists that have influenced you over the years?
Oh goodness, tough question as well. I get that asked a lot, and it's always so tough for me because of the fact that I've studied so many types of different music throughout my life. Um, I've definitely been influenced by classical music because that's what I started off with studying, and I pursued it till I was much older. So people like Beethoven, Tchaikovsky are amongst my favorites. And then obviously I was very much influenced by, people like Joan Jett, who I adored. She was like my hero. I went through a bit of a rock phase as a teenager, which is why I started playing guitar and the drums, and I started listening to a lot of alternative rock bands, like, who should I say now? Like The Used, as an example, or Dandy Warhols, if you know them. So I went through a bit of a rock phase. And then, of course, in terms of electronic music, people like the Chemical Brothers, Fatboy Slim, Danny Tenaglia, amazing DJ, Carl Cox, who else? Yeah, I'm quite diverse. Even people like Stevie Wonder was a big influence in terms of his songwriting. I adore him. Michael Jackson, of course, he's like just the king of pop and groove, and he's just incredible. How can you not like Michael Jackson? How can you not be influenced by him?
Right.
It's a lot. I have a lot of influences. I'm kind of like a melting pot of tons of different styles of music, and then I just pick and choose the elements that I like, and try to recreate something that's more mine.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what makes you a great, well-rounded artist, is when you're influenced by so many different genres. It could be hip-hop, it could be R&B, it could be rock music, pop, and that helps to kind of guide your musical instincts also. So I think that's pretty good.
No, it is good. It's definitely fun because fusing different genres always results into something interesting. That's
Definitely.
that's when you can create, I guess, a sound or something that kind of cuts through the noise, as we call it. Something that doesn't sound exactly like everything else in a specific genre. So
Definitely.
that's kind of cool.
And as a Greek artist, how would you describe the dance music scene in Greece compared to other countries around the world? Are there any major differences to the dance music scene there?
Well, I guess Greece, like most European countries, is extremely, extremely heavy on dance and house music. Growing up here, I guess would be very similar to growing up in a place like Spain or Germany or Italy or Portugal, or France or any of those countries. House music is what people listen to when they go out, other than local Greek music and stuff like that. So it's very, very widely listened to, and because of that, there's a lot of subgenres that exist within a country like Greece or any other country in Europe in general. You've got Afro house, you have deep house, you have tech house, you have techno, you have a million in like garage, you have a million and two different subgenres, but that's because it's a very, very popular style of music as a genre. So I guess that would be, for me, having experienced living in Greece versus the US, I would say that I can compare those two countries. I'm not sure about how it compares to like Asia, like the Asian market, or Australia, or, a country that I've never been to, which is much further away. But if I'm comparing Greece to the United States, it's that it's just a country that literally, that's what people listen to when they go out. There's not much hip hop going on. There's not much R&B going on. And obviously, there's not country music going on. So that's kind of the big difference. In the U.S., I've noticed that there are a lot more genres that people listen to. So you can go out to a hip hop club in New York, but then right next to it, you'll find a club that plays deep house music, and then next to it, you'll find a club that plays open format. It's much more diverse in that sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. And do you have any projects coming up that we should know about?
Yes, well, currently to start with, I'm in Greece and I'm on a 3-month crazy tour, which is super fun. I actually just headlined a big festival here called the Color Day Festival. It's a I think it is the largest festival in the country. It's at the Olympic Stadium, 100,000 people or so. And I headlined this year, which was awesome. It was so much fun. And that was kind of like the kickoff to my summer tour. So I'm going to be doing that all the way till September. I've got 3 or 4 more festivals that I'm doing. One which is with Cedric Gervais, a very big DJ. So that's coming up actually on Saturday. I was just finishing my intro for that. I'm scoring an awesome epic intro for that festival. So
We love Cedric Gervais. Oh, I've met Cedric a couple of times, and so tell him that Jakari said hello.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm actually probably flying with him. That's I just finished having a conversation with a booking person. But yeah, that's happening on Saturday. I'm super excited about that. It's in an island called Rhodes.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to be on tour pretty much the entire summer, all the way to September. And then, of course, I'm in the studio whenever I have a day off throughout the summer because I'm working on my next records, which I'm super excited about. I've already finished a couple of them. So yeah, those are going to be coming out really, really soon.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
Thanks for tuning in to the JMG Live Music Lounge. Be sure to follow me, your host, Jakari Harris, on Instagram and Twitter. And be sure to tune in every Friday for the latest episode. I'll see you next week. Visit jmgmags.com to download the latest episodes of the JMG Live Music Lounge podcast. This portion of the show is sponsored by Avant Media Institute.